I think that Richard's got the devs probably going pretty crazy, and I think he's playing the smart game where he's not going to leave himself corporately exposed, and I don't mean that from a legality standpoint. I mean from he's not going to allow there to be bad code put out. And in his defense, if you blame him for that, you just can't do that. All right, I don't always see eye to eye with him. I've barely even spoken to his number one. For me, I think everybody thinks that I own like this big wallet, and it's a corporate wallet. It's actually a law firm. But it's like, okay, so it sounds good in theory, right? So I'm like y'all, where I don't have just one position. We've got 5 positions. You guys just know of 2 of them. So, and we're just keeping our mouth shut. Where I'm needed, I believe, is this. And the problem is Richard's in Superman mode, so he's just not the kind of guy to reach out and say it. Now, he'll tell the community to go do various things or go do various tasks or to build various programs. And I could go one step further and say I could see that even being a smart move on his part legally for the degree of separation, right? If you think about that in theory crafting. So for me, it's like, I don't care how much money people think that I will or could possibly make. It is patently absurd to think that you're going to extract that money from that network. You want to take that much kinetic energy out of the Pulsechain and PulseX network, right? Okay, check this out. Like, making $1 billion I understand that's a big deal to a lot of people, but in the grand scheme of things, not really. I'm not all that impressed, but I get it. But in big deals, that's not really a big deal. So knowing that a large portion of what we do, like, I need to be developing stuff on that network. Do you understand what I mean, Lit?
Yeah, I do.
I do. And that's going to be critical. And because Richard's in this mode where he's building all this crap himself, and I don't mean crap as in it's garbage, it's not, it's state of the art, but he's doing it himself.
Yeah.
And it's almost like you wish that he's in a marketing mode. I get it. Okay. But it's almost like you wish he would text you, say, I need this done, do this. And it's like, finally, but that's not where he's at. And
I have a question about that. And I know Richard isn't on stream, so we can't ask him directly.
Well,
but
yeah, he's
how, like, it's not like there's a shortage of funds to hire developers to build Pulsechain quicker. Do you think that there's some Mensa Richard Hart mastermind strategy behind the timing that he's taking?
No, I understand the theory that you're talking about. Is he timing the market to get to the bottom? Is he thinking that dimensionally? I don't think he is, but is he aware of it? Of course he is. But do I think that he's actually adjusting the code base? If I take him at his word, and that's what he said he was doing, then I'm going to believe him at his word. So he's actually changing the code. Now, if he's also doing it in tandem with timing the market, good on him. Frickin' baller. Roll with it. I view Richard like this. He's like a president, and I'm the annoying general, right? Right?
What do you mean?
Right. Come on, man. Look at U.S. presidents historically. Come on, man. Seriously. And there's always a general where the president's like, I'm fixing to backhand you into next Tuesday. So it was like whenever I got pissed with him and everybody conflated it as a threat, I'm sitting there putting my hand on my face going, you people are just... it's like there comes a point to where the network's got to launch, but even I had to slow down and say, look, he's not going to do something self-destructive. So I had to course correct and just take it in the face because I brought that on myself. So, and I recognize that, and that's fine. It's called live and learn. The question is, did everybody else learn from it at the same time? Hopefully they did. Hey, Rack's one of the biggest guys in the ecosystems, but he's not above correction. You feel me?
I do, and I actually really appreciate that because in a way you're just showing us like, hey, I'm just as human as you guys. And I really learned something by chatting with you right now about billionaires. I'm going to be honest, y'all. I kind of had a concept that when you're a billionaire, you don't have to worry about that much. Because you got people to do stuff.
Wrong.
But what I learned talking to you tonight is in a way, you maybe have more to worry about now that you have this level of success.
Let me ask you a question on that, Lit. If I'm not putting a tremendous amount of money back into the ecosystem, what have I done, essentially? What? I multiplied money? Yeah, if there's no expectation of return or gain, and that's fine, tokenization happens and you're going, hey, cool, I'm out. You're a fool. Okay, you're a fool. I was there for the Bitcoin just like he was. I was there, right? And I was fortunate that I didn't progressively get into Ethereum the way that Richard probably did. I accidentally got into it. So let's make sure we give proper credit where it's due. It's not something I did. It was an accident. It was a fluke. And
was it like one of your advisors called, remember you told us you got that Coinbase tip and you got yourself out? Was it one of those things? Or was it just like him? Like dumb luck?
No, actually, it was, I don't want to reveal that. I don't want to do that.
Okay.
I don't want to do that. But I've been there physically. I have watched people find old computers, literally I've been there and watched them find a computer, boot it back up years later as a joke, and there was 712 Bitcoin on the computer.
No way. You actually witnessed that?
Yes, I have.
What was your reaction when you saw that? That's insane.
I fist bumped them and said they owed me lunch, and we went and ate.
Now, were they already very wealthy, or was this like, did they pass out with joy?
They had like 13 Bitcoin at the time.
Oh my goodness. Could you guys imagine getting a computer, rebooting it up, and open a computer, and it had a big bag of Bitcoin?
It's not, I mean, my true cost average for my Bitcoin back in the day, my real cost average, not like Richard's, man, but I was below $1 a Bitcoin.
Wow.
So it's not, and I walked into that. So let's be very clear about that. Again,
you're not really taking credit. You're just saying it manifested. It wasn't like you masterminded it.
Yeah. We
saw ahead of the game.
We did, and then we had a couple projects that we actually shut one down. We reimbursed everybody out of another project. So it's, you know, if a project, because of compliance issues or the SEC said you are not authorized to do that, even though at the time they kind of gave us a pseudo nod because of all of our opinion letters from our legal counsel, our corporate counsel, and compliance, and then they go, nope, and it's like, we've already committed to this, we've already got money in this, we've already raised capital. It's crazy. So it was. We had one of the fastest currency crypto conversions available at the time. We built the tech. And so we were able to convert Bitcoin and Ethereum literally on the fly, just literally on the fly with our own pools and everything. And it was pretty cool. But the bank, Chase, just went completely south on us and turned hostile. It was crazy.
When Hex attracts the billionaires, and there's a reason, and I like to look at what you're talking about. The reason I like billionaires in the game is because they have whole council membership advising them. You actually have teams of people.
We absolutely do. I mean, it was like the hard part was listening to because I can show you some of the screenshots. I kept them, and one of them I kept because I turned it over to a guy named Audion Paxson, who's a U.S. Marshal, and he's going to handle business for somebody that's I don't like now. So but aside from that, was a lot of my Saudi friends that we were truly bringing into the fold. They were genuinely excited. Then they ran across some of the memes and they were like, "What is the meaning of this?" And it's like, holy frick. You know, and it's like my job, right, as part of this community is, I believe it is to, you know, protect the community, to watch over the community, from my perspective, right? That's Richard's job is not to police the community, it's to develop, it's to direct, give the orders, right? I think that all of us have started kind of at the very beginning, even pre-AA adoption amplifier with Hex. We recognized that it was principled and modeled after a real-world instrument, the certificate of time deposit. I'm just surprised it didn't happen sooner.
Are you or now or in the future considering developing something on the Pulsechain yourself with your team?
I'd like to. We have our exchange that we're finishing up right now, and because that's going to tie the legacy markets to the crypto markets, it should enable us to convert stuff on the fly. It's going to be pretty. It's I almost said it's going to be
Can you
pretty
give
low.
all the hexicans the heads up because
I not yet.
you're
I can. Not yet. I can.
I mean when the time is right.
Absolutely. And I'm not, and another thing is I would like to do it in a way to where I don't want to do a capital raise up for it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I don't want to sell a token. I want to have a token internally for the reasons that I do, but I don't want to sell the token. Here's the deal, but I'm not going to let you know. Because the way that I want to do it is I don't want to market to Richard's community. I do not want to do that. I don't need to do that. I can spend the money to market it myself, and but I also don't want to charge people to buy a token. I'd rather just say, hey, if you have knowledge of it, just go sign up, and I'm going to treat everybody equally, and I'm not going to charge you a dime. So, and if that's what that program looks like, then I will deal with it at that time. But to pull kinetic energy out of Richard's network, or the Pulsechain or the PulseX, I have no interest in doing that. Zero. As a matter of fact, I will not even tweet about it to that community. I'm just not going to do that.
Okay, well, I think we all want to be kept in the loop, so keep us in the loop.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to try to do it in a way that respects the integrity of my position, and also doesn't disrespect everybody that's put in a lot of work to this network. And hopefully I'm not rambling and carrying on it.
No, because I appreciate it because if you're marketing outside of the Hexagon community, you're essentially onboarding a whole new group of people in.
Correct.
Yeah, so that's win-win.
Yeah, it's my streaming gear is pretty much all set up. You know, I was very fortunate that the Highest Stakes crew actually came to one of my locations and set up. I must have bought almost 17, 18 grand worth of streaming gear, and it looks absolutely stunning.
Wow.
So I'm trying to get 2 more cameras so that I can flip a switch and it'll change the angle, and we're doing all that. So that's kind of where we're at with it. And but for me right now, yeah, I want to start developing stuff on the network. I'm too big of a position not to do it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. Okay, Rack, we have two people with their hands up. Let's let them ask a loving, respectful question, and then we can wrap it up. You good with that?
Yeah, you're a co-host. Go ahead.
So every time you talk, Lit, there's like massive feedback, so we haven't been able to hear the stream properly.
Oh my God, brutal.
People are going to protect what they're vested in, and I get it. I do. I promise I get it, and I'm also very protective, but I have to reel myself in, because when I go out on the general Twitter and I see people defamating, direclamating, hex, stuff like that, it grates my nerves too, man. I want to say something, but it's like I'm honestly, and I think everybody in this room would probably agree, is that I don't think that that scam narrative works anymore. I don't think it works anymore. I think that when I hear that word, I think people's eyes glaze over and they literally look at the person and say, come up with something more original. That's just stupid. I can give you from my perspective. I mean, even if Richard Hart himself is in the channel listening, I'm an e-hex. I'm going to be a hex guy on both the Pulse and the Ethereum network. I just am. Obviously, Pulsechain, I'm going to be a big fan of. The PulseX tokenization, I'm a fan of. I'm going to, corporately, we're going to keep a stack of Bitcoin. Corporately, we're keeping a stack of Ethereum. And my only next play that I'm really interested in, as far as cryptographically goes, is I'm waiting to get information on the upcoming wallet that I think Richard's going to do. I'm going to be all over that. Actually, I posted my assessment of it. I really, really believe that at the 1 to 3 cent range, if your medial is going to be 1 to 1.5 cents because of your duplication of the network, Ethereum versus the Pulse network. It's very compelling, man. I'm telling you, because you guys aren't going to know when it happens, because I've already made a side deal. So you can't listen. If it hits a penny, if it hits 2 cents or a penny, I'm already buying in it. I'm buying $1 million worth. And the reason I can tell you that is because it's not going to be on the open market where I'm buying it. So there's no way for you guys to affect me. You have no chance. So, and all I'm doing is going, That's fine at 2 cents, and I cut it in half. If my average is 1, if we hit that number, watch what I do because I'll prove it. And but if you had a 56 cent prior high, and now I'm net split, are you kidding me? I've got a 50x upside per network. I get 100x to do nothing but wait. And if I spend $1 million, that means I make 99 million for free. Of course, I'm all in. I don't
Now,
need
for me,
to race. It's like that's the big difference right there. Is I recognize where we're at, and it's opportunity. There's no way in the world, man. I'm here to win. So you're telling me it's 12 cents before the split. So you've got a 6 cents split, basically. Nice. That's a 9x upside per network. So say you had 10 grand in there, you'd make an instant couple $100,000. And in doing so, you'd be ready for the gate price of Pulse. Even though it may go up, if it dips, that's going to be an incredible opportunity, man. I mean, I'm proud of you guys if you're looking at playing that game. And listen, if people tell you that guys like me look at you guys as liquidity or exit liquidity, that's absolute
no, I don't believe that.
that's bullcrap. That part does make me aggressive because I'm like, don't lie about me. I don't mind anything else, but don't lie. You can't have me start in the trenches and then suddenly go make money and then expect me to go, hey guys, I've now made a lot of money and we're not in the same class, so I'm going to move on and you don't get to talk to me anymore. That's like wrong, all right? While I won't let people take me for granted or walk right up to me like they know me, I still desire connections. I still desire relationships. I've met people over the last year that have visited me in person that are going to come back if I have something to say about it. Because to me, relationships should be cherished. And I mean that. And I had to make a choice and I pulled out and my buying support dropped, gentlemen. So I don't know what to tell you. Now, somebody may go, see, Rack was behind, doing all that. You could say that, but I was also buying up hex that I wanted. I do respect Richard. I actually do respect him. You have to have a community for Richard Hart to weaponize to do what he's got to do. He needs his community, and the community needs him to do what he does. He's the visionary, man. I mean, if you're going to be making double-digit millions on this, and a lot of people have the potential to. They have the potential to. Most are not going to, and I'll tell you, I have a theory for why. But
me too.
We need to be putting back into the ecosystem.
What is that theory for why not?
Because they're not going to wait. Most of you listen. If you're listening to my voice, I could say that in a very polite way. I can say that in a polite way. I choose not to.
Tell it straight.
Most of you aren't going to make it. I'm sorry, but that's the reality. And I hope it spurns you, and I hope it pisses you off, and I hope you look at me going, excuse me.
Is that because people will just sell too early?
You got it. None of you is going to be wealthy, not one of you, and there's nothing you can do about it, right? And if that upsets you, and now you're hearing the real me, that's good. I want you to get pissy, and I want you to get upset where you go, I'll show you, and I'm going to go, thank you, please do. I hope every one of you will wait a minimum of 1 to 2 years, please, because you're not exit liquidity. If you will do that, you're going to be freaking stoked, man. You guys are going to, oh my gosh, just don't sell early. Go back and get a second job. I don't care what you got to frickin' do. I promise you, I will, man, because you guys are going to know which wallets are. Mine are all being broken up by the law firm, and they're going to do their job. But I guarantee you, some of you are going to watch all those wallets, and that's fine. Do what you want. But I guarantee you're going to see them holding how much you want to bet. We can let them ask you. I don't really want to get torn up by people, man, because I'm still, I still got accused of a lot of crazy crap, man. There's people on here I absolutely love they're amazing. Some of them they're just not cool, dude.
Just to clear the slate, I've been completely MIA. I have not been checking in. I don't know what's going on with you or the community or anyone, and I just got nothing but love for all y'all Hexicans. So I just just was coming from the place of love and respect. I'm not trying to.
It's cool, man. I had to block almost, when I started getting attacked about some previous business dealings, which was horrible. They were saying a bunch of stuff that was, listen, Gary at Funding Jim and Motley Investor and I do not get along. Those two cause me a lot of grief, a lot. And that's fine. Life happens, man. And I don't hate either one, don't hate either guy, but neither one of them is going to come anywhere near me. And that's just how it's going to be, period.
We're all staked, and we're going to be here 10 to 15 years. So maybe at some point we can all put it behind us.
It's just certain people that you're just not made to be compatible with, and that's it. And it's not a hate thing, but yeah. So, and the problem with that whole scenario was not only am I still friends with two of the people from that prior company that they were lying about, one of them is a pastor now. And he was being attacked, and he's a pastor, bro. And he was the prior marketing director for that company. And he goes, just let it go, man. I said, I know, I get it, man. And we're kind of behind the scenes just shaking our heads going, you have to let people think what they're gonna think. You have to.
The larger the Hexagon community gets, not everyone's gonna get along. But me personally, I got nothing but love for all y'all. So I want this conversation to be about how we can all get ahead and learn from your expertise. Because you really are good at making money, keeping it, diversifying, understanding new trends, having the right connections so you can get out of certain exchanges before other people, and those other people are us. That's me. It's not every day we can talk to multi-billionaires about how to manage our finances.
Everybody's going to be different. They're lit. And I think that's the hardest thing is me being able to interact with people on social somewhat, and but also keeping that boundary there. It took me months to get to a point where I've got Kyler coming here, and Kyler's going to be privately trained by my guys. So but it took months. So it's relations matter. They actually really do. And I didn't start out as anything. I wasn't born into anything. So to say that, hey, Rack, you cleared this, and then you made this much, and then you made this level, I'm not going to allow people to take me for granted and walk up and fist bump me like they know me, because they don't. But at the same time, I'm not above immersion and interaction with people, because that's not the way and it's hard to explain, man.
Well, you're already forced to do it. You can't just go to Starbucks and get a coffee. You have to phone ahead to your organization to make sure that your corporation or CEO is protected. In a way, like you've lost a lot of autonomy through your success.
Yeah, they're here all the time. It's just a matter of, hey, you want to go do A, B, or C, and then there's a protocol. And I don't know. You don't want to come across looking pompous or arrogant. It's just that's a protocol you follow because you have a certain amount of people that you're responsible for, and that's a very real thing. That's a very real pressure. It's not something. That's the side to people like Joe Rogan and Saylor and all those guys that you may or may not like, but they have a responsibility to take care of their people.
How heavy does that weigh on your heart or your head?
It's
that
massive.
responsibility.
It's freaking massive. It's massive.
Can you explain that to us? Because people don't know how to relate to that part of you, and I'm sure you don't tell anyone that. Like, I'm kind of digging on you. How does that impact you?
Dude, you're getting deep. The hardest thing about being me is the perception of what people think they know about me. And, I'm a guy that's trying to learn how not to be such a hard ass,
Wow.
I'm a hyper vigilant guy. I'm very, very protective of my people and my community. Very protective. It's not an act. It's not a front. If I have all this money, then your opinion of me doesn't matter, right? But it does matter.
Wow.
And to the point to where I'll take abuse. And even though people listen, I know there's people listening right now that were talking all sorts of crap about me months ago. I know, because I can see some of the names. I'm looking at them. So, and you know what? I still don't hate those people because they don't know what they think they know. And that's fine. But as far as my day to day, I wish I could say it's smooth, but it's not. And I do a lot of stuff to clear my head because it is stressful. I know what it's like to wake up at 2 a.m. and say, is payroll covered for another $1.2 million, man. I know what it's like to wake up and feel your heartbeat and your chest just going ballistic, like you're going, am I freaking fibbing out or what? What's going on with my heart? I'm stressed. So yeah, we deal with that. We deal with, where's that balance between, hey, get off the phone, put the frickin' phone down and go look at your daughter and say, love you.
Wow.
Let's go eat lunch. Or, hey, yeah, the wife is smiling at you, but is she really smiling? It's like, on your quest to become baller, did you really kind of circumvent your family and tell them what you're going to do versus asking them? Did your wife or your husband ask to be rich? Did he ask to move into that community or that place that, that he may or may not really be happy with, or they may not be happy with? Think it through, man. So yeah, all those and, all these people looking at me during the day, what about their hope? What about their future? Are they comfortable? Do they feel safe? Do they go, hey, Rack's got my back? How's their retirement account? How's the outlook going? Am I identifying, predicting, determining, and executing my moves accordingly? As Richard said, he plays Mensa. Well, I go, hey, Rich, I play 5D chess, bro. Let's roll.
So much of what you said was just so real and so deep, and I hope everyone listening can really hear the human elements behind Rack right now. The fact that you can't just get up and go to a restaurant. You have to have your boys back you up and check in with you, and that does really impact your family. On top of that, you have all the people that rely on you and your businesses to stay in good standing and in profit that are relying on that's their bread and butter. You're stable. Is that what I'm getting?
Yeah, actually it is. It does. And
wow.
And if you have strife in your own family or marriage, it reverberates through the ranks. Suddenly your chief administrative office is reeling, he's setting protocols that got to be fixed. Your partner's having to adapt, and he could be halfway across the world currently. You've got other stuff that you're working on that, now I'm getting pushback from the SEC and FINRA because mysteriously my publicly traded companies that we're working on are starting to hit friction points. And lo and behold, it's, are you affiliated with these certain crypto companies? Oh, frick. Yeah, I'm involved with that community. We have some questions, and I'm going, here we go, it's like, you guys don't know what you don't know. And when I post stuff, depending on how you sacked, you don't get a get out of jail card. I don't say stuff to hear myself talk. I'm amazed that I've got 15,000 people that are even remotely interested, in hearing what I got to say. They think that I've heard so much crap, I bought my way into the movie. No, I told them no twice, and then they said, do you have something to say? And I did. And I told them what I thought of Richard and how I was proud of him in some ways. And in some ways he has to grow in some other areas, and how shock marketing can and cannot work sometimes. And yeah, so it's just, this community has a lot going for it, man. It's got some great people, but it's also got some very wicked people that are wrapped in it.
If this documentary or docu-series or movie, however it comes out, if it is done incredibly well,
oh, it is.
It's going to be one of the best onboarding tools we've ever seen.
Bro, when you see the actor that I'm fixing to pull into it, that's going to be narrating, that Pat and Grant are going to, that's the nod. They're the boys, but I've let it be known. I want to see an A-lister in here. I want a major name, and I've given them major names, major names, and they've got some ideas of who they want to see. So ultimately, it's going to be interesting to see what Pat or Grant or any of the highest stakes crew ends up doing. But I've already committed to funding, a significant 7-digit figure to take care of this.
All of the good word we can spread. I think this documentary has the opportunity to blow all of that out of the water.
It does.
Because if it really takes off on a major platform, like a streaming platform, that will spread the knowledge of Pulsechain to millions of people.